She's married and her husband is 40 and a civil servant. They have 3 children together. According to Vero, she says their relationship used to be very sweet before, but now it's so fights up and down, so fights here and there. According to her, she says, he insults me at the slightest opportunity. If he's sweet today, it's another story tomorrow. And she said, I hate it that when we have issues, he doesn't apologize, but he just wants to have sex and move on. This really upsets me. So, how do I handle this? That is Vero's question tonight. How do I handle this? The number to call to advise Vero tonight is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. All right. Now, please, you can also listen live from any part of the world that you're in right now via the website. All you have to do is go on the website, and that is www.wfm917.com. www.wfm917.com. And that's it. Now, when you call, please ensure to turn down the volume of your radio. This is so important and it's needed so that we can actually hear you clearly. Please turn down the volume of your radio. Thank you. Also, keep your advice short, simple, and constructive. Short, simple, and constructive. I plead with you. When I say keep your advice short, simple, and constructive, please do not condemn or attack anybody else's opinion. And above all, do not be judgmental to Vero tonight. And that's because, as always, we do not do judgment here on Adult Conversation. This is a safe space, so we don't judge. The group chat is also very much available. You can join the group chat whenever you desire, but it's important that you do because we always take messages from that platform first every single day. And I'm going on that platform to read the first set of messages. All right. So if you want to join the Adult Conversations family group on WhatsApp, all you need to do is send your information. Send your name and contact number via WhatsApp, indicating interest in joining the group. Send your name and contact information via WhatsApp, indicating interest in joining the group to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. That's the number to send your messages. That's the number to send your contact number and your name, indicating interest in joining the group. That's the number to send it to. Now, let's begin reading messages. All right. Well, this first one is coming in. This first one is coming in from Francis from Ibafu. He says, Good evening. Good evening to all the Adult Conversations family members. I hate it when men don't treat their wives as the queen of the house, especially when both have issues. Instead of the husband who is the head of the house to apologize to his wife, he will not. But when he needs sex, that's when he will remember that he offended his wife. And that's very wrong. Women are the queens of the house. They deserve more respect. My advice for Vero tonight is to continue praying for your family and love your husband and your children. Take care of the house, play your own part very well, and one day God will arrest your husband. And that's from Francis from Ibafu. Deacon Ben is saying, if an experience is not particularly heartwarming, then it's either said to be semi-sweet or bittersweet. Kind of Tom and Jerry toxic relationship. I'm not sure of the measure of insult or what you term as insult from your husband. Whatever the case, consider the fact that lack of open communication can actually widen the gap of understanding between both of you. This is the more reason why you don't insist on him tendering an unreserved apology as a precondition before having sex with you, even when there are unresolved issues. Feed him with sex first, and at the point of ejaculation, you can demand for 1,000 apologies from him. And I bet he'll say, darling, I'm very sorry, even with his eyes closed like a baby. Finally, Vero, I need you to be wise and proactive instead of being reactive. May the Lord add more honey, salt, and milk to heal, sweeten, and preserve your marriage. All right, Chinwe from Ejigbo is saying, good evening, lady. You have to tell your husband that this attitude is making you to be angry and that he should change so as to give love a chance to grow. And that's coming from Chinwe from Ejigbo. All right, you can get your calls started, and I'll definitely be taking calls and be taking text messages and WhatsApp messages as well. So please start calling. Yes, the number to call into is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. So you can keep your calls coming in and we begin conversation so that we can know exactly what it is to tell Vero tonight. Yes, the time is this is 28 minutes to 10 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. And of course, this is still Adult Conversations. Hello, good evening. Okay, please call back if you can. All right. So if you're just joining us, Vera's story is pretty simple. She's telling us that she and her husband have a bittersweet relationship. They have 3 children. According to her, her relationship used to be very sweet. But now, according to her, it's fight here and there. They're always fighting. He insults her at the slightest opportunity. And when he's sweet one time, he's different another time. She said she doesn't like that he doesn't apologize, but he just wants to have sex and move on. She said it really upsets her. So how do I handle this? That's the question. How do I handle this? Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. This is Adriana speaking from Ajanma State.
Tell me your name again, please.
This is Adriana speaking from Ajanma State.
Endurance.
Yeah.
From Ajawa State. Okay, thank you for calling. Is this your first time of calling?
Yeah, this is my second calling.
Thank you so much. All right, yes. Please go ahead. What is the advice to Vero?
So, about Vera issue, Vera by name, right?
Vero.
So, about Vera issue, before I proceed, I would like to know, is it marriage issue or they are in a relationship?
They've been married. They have 3 children.
They are married, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. I think Vera should exercise the patience, okay? Keep trying. But let her husband understand how she feels sometimes, okay? When her husband go wrong or say something annoying to her. You understand? Because when someone gets annoyed, when someone speaks a word that you don't like, if you keep it to yourself, you know it will affect you, okay? So you got to say it out so that let him or her understand how you feel. Let him or her not try next time. You understand what I'm doing? All right. So whenever her husband goes wrong or whatever that her husband is doing that she doesn't like, let her open up, okay? That's the best way. If her husband refuses to change, then let her go ahead of the next option.
And what's the next option?
Madam, I beg. That is what I can say for now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Endurance.
All right.
Okay. He says that she should Endurance, that's his name, Endurance, calling from Ajawo. Ajawo, yes. He's saying in this case that she should exercise more patience. And he's also saying that she should tell her husband from time to time how she feels about the fact that he doesn't apologize or that he says things that he doesn't like, that she doesn't like to her. So because it's not good to hold things within you, which he's right about because that actually causes resentment. So he's saying that she should try to talk to him from time to time about it. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, it's Kendrick speaking. Happy New Month.
Same to you, Kedrick. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, from Yanapaja.
Okay. I haven't heard from you in a while. Is everything okay?
Yeah, though I've been listening to the conversation, I've been listening. It's just that I've been busy this one.
Oh, that's okay. In Nigeria, everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Everybody's busy. Okay, thank you so
So
much
how
for
you
calling
doing?
this evening. I'm very well. Thank you so much.
That's very good.
So, what is your advice to Vero?
Let me get the matter again. Let me get it right. And you, let me get it right.
Hmm. Should I give you a summary?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So she's saying that her husband basically is sweet today, bitter tomorrow. By bitter, I mean he's a different person. She says initially their relationship used to be very sweet and they used to be, everything used to be lovey dovey. Life was good, basically,
Okay.
within their marriage. But now she says it's
Okay.
fight. They're always fighting here and there. Today he's sweet, tomorrow he's not. And then even when he offends her, when he does something that she doesn't like, he doesn't end up apologizing, but he just wants to have sex and move on. And she said that
Yeah.
upsets her and she doesn't like it. So she's saying that how do I handle this? How do I handle this? Bear in mind, he's 35, she's 40. She's a caterer, he's a civil servant, and they share three
Okay.
children.
Yeah, very good. This is a very good, interesting conversation. I love this. Yeah, what I would say first is like what the first caller said. He made mention of communication.
Hmm.
Communication is very, very important in relationships, in marriage. Now, when a partner has an issue or disagreement with his other partner, for instance, now she has an issue with the husband, what she has to do is for her to open up. Oh, babe, this is what is altering me. You did this, you did that. But she is scared. But that's not actually where I'm going to. What I want to point out from the matter is the man is after sex. And it's sex is very, very important in relationships. It was in marriage. But that is not what matters. That is not all matters in marriages. One thing that most people, most ladies, most men fail to take note of or to plan of is the person they want to get married for too. They are not concerned about the understanding. They are not concerned about their patience. They are not concerned about other things. What they are concerned about is that sex. And when you jump into the marriage, you begin to notice that you're not getting what you expected to be getting. Are you getting?
Mm-hmm.
So the man is a problem. The man is a problem. The man is a problem, and she too also has a part to play. She needs to understand the man. Though there are some men that they are not understandable. They are corny. They are not understandable. Hope you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're not understandable. So it may be difficult today. They could be white tomorrow. They could be red next tomorrow. They could be yellow. So it's very, very, it's going to be risky and quite challenging to understand such people.
Well, I think Kedrick's basic point is that of communication and understanding. He's saying that communication is critical to the success of any relationship, particularly a marriage. And also, he's saying that if you got into the marriage for the wrong reasons, such as just sex, it might be detrimental to the health of the marriage and to the longevity of the marriage going forward. So he's saying open communication and understanding from both parties. He's saying that the woman should try to understand her husband more, and that's very in this case. Very should try to understand her husband more. So this will prevent unnecessary conflict between her husband and herself. All right. Please keep the calls coming in and let us give Vero some good advice tonight. There's so much that needs to be spoken about that Vero needs to hear. And all these will depend on all the advice that is coming from you tonight. So, as you're doing whatever it is that you're doing right now, remember that Vera is listening and she would love to learn a thing or two because she's asking the question, how do I handle this? How do I handle this? And that's her question. Right now, her marriage is relatively unpredictable. 1 second, everything is happy and gay and beautiful and just joyful in general. In the next second, they're in a fight. She's talking to her husband, he's talking to her, and they're fighting over something very basic. So she's saying, then to now make things worse, he doesn't apologize. Even when they have a fight, he doesn't apologize. He just wants to have sex and move on. So she doesn't like that. She definitely doesn't like that. So she's asking, how do I handle this situation? How do I handle this situation? So, as I always ask, if you've lived through this kind of experience before, if you've lived through this kind of experience before on any level, if you know what this feels like, somebody who consistently doesn't apologize and it just seems like they're unpredictable. You don't know when they're happy, you don't know when they're sad, and it just seems like they're always picking a fight, or you're always somehow ending up in a fight with them. Just give Vera some good advice tonight. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, I'm Amaka, calling from Florida.
Amaka, thank you for calling this evening. I hope you had a good day.
Yes, I had. And you?
I did too. I did too. Thank you so much. Okay, please,
Okay.
let's dive right into it. What is your advice for Vera?
Okay. My advice to Vero is it's a normal thing for an husband or for a husband and a wife to quarrel. Now, if there's an issue and the man is wrong, according to what she said, the man is always wrong. If the man is wrong and he demands for sex, she should give him the sex. Then after the sex, then tell him what has happened, and the man will apologize. But if she has not done that, if she has done that severally, and the man does not apologize, if I'm the one, I will not give him that sex. I will give when he has that urge for sex, I will remind him of what he did, and I will tell him to apologize first before I give him that sex. That is my advice. Advice to her is, first of all, if he demands for sex, give it to him and tell him about what he did that day and everything settles. But there is one thing about marriage is that if there is an issue for that day, if there is an issue between husband and wife that day, my own advice and the advice that I've always received is there should be an agreement. I think there should be a settlement between the husband and the wife that night. Because if you take it over to the next day and over to the next day, you see it continue elongating and elongating. So it should be an agreement, it should be a settlement about the quarrel that night. So that's my advice to her. She should just give the man the sex. Then after the sex, tell him what has happened. And if the man does not apologize and he does it, he give him the sex. While he's having that urge, the woman should tell him that she should apologize first before she can give her the sex, give him the sex first.
Hmm. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Amaka. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
All right, Amaka right there from Ikorodu. And Amaka is saying in this case that if he's asking for sex, even after he has offended you without apologizing, give him the sex. Give him the sex he's asking for and move on from that. But the next time he offends you and doesn't apologize and then asks for sex, don't give him sex without an apology. That's what she's saying. She said, don't give him sex without an apology so that this doesn't become a normal thing and he doesn't ever feel the need to apologize anymore, even when he's wrong. So she's saying the first time or the first couple of times, if this is happening and this is a simple situation and you tell him to apologize and he does everything, we move on, life goes on. But if this is something he does and he doesn't ever apologize, she's saying that when next he feels the urge to have sex, just deny him and move on. All right. Deny him until he apologizes. That's it. Deny him until he apologizes. So, do your thoughts resonate in the same direction as Amaka's thoughts? Yes. Do your thoughts resonate directly in the same direction as Amaka's thoughts? Or do you feel completely differently about the situation? How do you really feel? So it's important that we know. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling. What's your name and where are you calling from?
So my name is Dikin Kano. Good evening.
Oh, Dikin Ben, good evening. I wasn't expecting a call from you because I already read your previous message.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I really missed adult conversations about yesterday. Even though I sent text, I was away to worry. I tried to follow online, but I didn't connect.
Oh, well, you missed
Yeah.
a lot yesterday, but we're glad that you're back. Thank you very much for joining us again this evening.
Thank you, dear. Yes, I enjoyed Amaka's contribution. She has eloquently, given a very beautiful um, submission. But her last line of thought is quite a tricky one. Tricky in the sense that um, she said if the man fails to apologize, then hold on, starving of the steps until he does that. I consider that as being tricky because you understand the temperament of your husband, whether he is the type that usually give into that, especially when he is cajoled. And again, you understand his temperament, whether he is the type that easily says sorry. Well, that does not mean he is a bully. Let me use the word bully or abusive husband. I had earlier tried to advise Vero, and I need her to be very, very circumspect and be careful, in the way she handles this. There are some men, that's why I use the word temperament, that if you think you want to use it to starve them, they just forget it and say, okay, let's see who blinks first. And I don't think this is healthy. I don't think it is healthy for the relationship or for the marriage, for the union. What you are doing is that you are being reactive instead of being proactive. It doesn't take too long to make a right. That's the angle I'm looking at it. But I think if there's something I'm going to give Vero to take home, is the fact that you don't starve a man sex because you want him to bow or to submit to a particular thing. No, I don't. I think that is absolutely wrong.
Okay, so when do you do it then?
Rather, we have agreed on this platform repeatedly that if there is an issue, couples should openly talk and discuss about it. Having someone of his right, just like it is your own conjugal right. Your husband can't starve you of that. You can't starve your husband. You have no right to do that, and your husband hasn't gotten any right to do that. Either. So, using sex as a weapon to drive home your point of a demand for something I don't think it is proper in this context.
Okay.
I don't think it is proper. Now, listen to what Zero said. I don't like it when the man doesn't say sorry and he demands for sex when there are issues to be resolved. Issues can always be resolved. It is a continuum, just like government. There must always be issues. So long as you people are together, there must always be issues. And God will always help you to resolve those issues. It takes wisdom and understanding to build a home. It takes also something that is not wise to put that home down. So if the man is behaving like somebody who doesn't understand, your perspective, show him by wisdom and understanding that what he is doing is wrong by leading by example. There is a way you can correct by love and not by trying to resist or trying to, stage a kind of, okay, let's see who's going to blink first. No, I don't think that is right. That's the angle I'm looking at it, Soomto.
Thank you very much, Deacon Ben. Thank you for calling.
God bless you, dear.
Okay, that was a pretty long submission, but he basically touched on the point that denying your husband sex for the purpose of wanting him to do something that you desire for him to do is wrong. He says that is not something that should be condoned in a marriage. It's not something that should be in a marriage. He's saying that you can do other things. You can do other things. You can be other things to the man, but you cannot you can't be in a situation where you don't ever communicate to the man, you don't talk. So he's emphasizing on communication and the fact that withholding sex from the man, all in a bid to make him apologize to you, is manipulative, and he doesn't like that idea. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Deacon Ben. All right, this is 7 minutes to 10 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. Yes, it's actually very not palatable, unpalatable, the situation that Vero finds herself in. Nobody wants to be tossed left, right, and center. There needs to be consistency. There needs to be, a certain level of security. But in Vero's case, that's not the case, because she's saying her husband practically blows hot and cold every single day. That's what she's saying. She's saying, one time it's sweet, everything's fine, we're all good. And the next time we're fighting over something. So she's saying that she hates that he doesn't apologize even when he's wrong. He doesn't apologize. And then she has to move on, basically. But he's also asking for sex. So she doesn't like that either. All right. So there's just so much to look at in this same story. But her basic question now is, how do I handle this? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Good evening, ma. Yeah. My name is Edith. Hello?
Yes, Edith. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Ogun State.
Okay. Where in Ogun State, Edith?
Agbado.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of things surrounding that the
story
situation now.
Yes.
That I had. But in summary, does she have God in their marriage?
Has she involved?
Do they have God in their marriage?
I cannot answer that because I'm not in the marriage, Edith.
Are you hearing?
I heard you. I'm saying I cannot directly answer that because I'm not the one in the marriage.
Yes. So you said, I heard you said she's there, right there with you.
No, I did not say that. I did not say that she's right there. She's not.
Let her pray.
So that's your advice?
The only option is for her to pray, hand over to God.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Because there's a lot of mistakes people do, but they don't know. If if any situation is harder than you hand over to God.
So she should just do more praying then.
So if he doesn't have God, then he should forget about it.
So she should do more praying.
People, she should pray. She should go into prayer for 2 or 3 days.
Okay. Thank you very much.
If you do anything in this world without God, then that means you don't know what to do.
Thank you very much.
Whatever you worship, you call that thing. Since so many people do not recognize God.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes.
All right. Well, you heard that by yourself. He's saying that God is the most important factor here. And without God, there's nothing else. So he's saying she should do more prayers. She should intensify her prayers because this is the most important thing. And this is what she actually needs right now, according to Edit. So are these your thoughts too? Or you have different thoughts about how she should handle this? How should she handle it? And what's the best outcome that she can hope to come out of this? What's the best outcome? So yes, I'm still taking calls. 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you.
Am I speaking with Ziggy?
By name.
Ziggy, thank you for calling today. Hope you had a good day.
Yeah, my day is great as always.
Of course.
And how was your day?
It was all right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. On the subject matter, just like the previous caller, this last caller now, there is a lot of angle to this Velo story. Okay? From her story, she told us that they have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they have come a long way. I don't know for how long this man, her husband, start putting up this attitude. So there is a lot they will have to check first. Number one, you have to check if the husband is under pressure of any kind. Maybe for work or paying the rent or something like that, because some men, whenever they're under pressure, they always got pissed off at a very slight of argument or something like that. Number two, she has to check herself also. Hope she's not argumentative or a nagging wife or a fault finder. Maybe anything the guy does, he always like to, quarrel or something like that. Another one again she has to investigate is this. Since I don't know if this guy, his attitude have been like this from day one. She has to check if this guy have a side chick. Because some men, whenever their wife put the first, the second, the third, the next thing that we do is to have an affair outside, and anything that the wife does at home got them irritated. Number four again, that she has to check herself. Hope she is tidying up very well. Maybe she's someone who have a last, not making up, not using good perfume, using good roll-on, making her hair. Hope she's not the one that have the last, and maybe the guy is no longer finding her attractive. So maybe the guy is pissing off with her attitude or something like that. If she have checked all those things and she's not the faulty one, and the husband is not keeping a side chick, now my own advice to her is this: she has to, make sure that she tidies herself up by cleaning up, take care of the kids, take care of the house, love her husband. If he start argument or start quarreling, just love him.
and make sure that you do your part and just leave him. Believe me, pray about it, and he will come back to his senses.
Okay.
Because if truly he's not keeping a side chick and he's not under any pressure of any kind, he will still come back to his senses with prayers and her playing her own part, cleaning up very well, make sure that she's clean and always, and love the kids, love her husband, not talking back at him. Whenever he's, whenever he put up that kind of nagging mood in the house, just let him be. He will most definitely come back to his senses. That's my advice to her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ziggy. That's another school of thoughts, and that's coming from Ziggy. Now, there's so many things that could contribute to the current situation between Vero and her husband, for which we do not really know because she doesn't say anything. She doesn't say anything about all the background story, the nature of their marriage, and the nature of their relationship within marriage. She doesn't say anything much about that. And so we can't really give her too much of advice when it comes to, how we got here. But the point remains, we're here now, and this is the situation. Sometimes he's sweet and nice, sometimes he's not. And she actually doesn't like it. She doesn't like that he doesn't apologize, but just wants to just asks for sex and moves on. And she says she doesn't like that. Okay, well, let me quickly take some messages and then we'll go back to the phone lines. All right. This is coming from Comrade. Comrade says, Vero's marriage was sweet when she has not started catering. No, the husband is feeling insecure. Maybe how Vero is carrying herself. Now, Vero, you need to talk at night with your husband. Vero, your catering service, are you having time for your husband and children? Please, not all men treat their wives as devils. I cherish my wife. And he says they need to discuss before sex. Vero is not an ordinary sex machine. They have to talk, connect, synergize, romance before sex. He also says maybe the husband has started listening to bad advice. Now, this is because she said that now their relationship is to be sweet, but now it's just so fight. So Comrade is saying maybe he used to keep bad friends. He's also saying he understands that the man is jealous and he just changed and now he's after just sex. So she's saying, he's going on to say that Soomto, do we know if Vero is at fault? I don't support her husband just asking for sex only. Soomto, don't forget some people didn't know their marriage was sweet before. Others, before there must be a fault. All right. Well, he goes on to say, Soomto, Ziggy means whether she's dressing like Mbeke. But wait, the man is having sex with her, I insist it is insecurity. And that's from Comrade. Okay, well, thank you very much for sending in those messages. This one is coming in. Oh, he doesn't say your name or where you're calling from. It just says, please advise. My advice for that lady is for her to take the matter to God. All right, thank you so much. Yes, please keep the messages coming in. I'm still going to be reading text and WhatsApp messages as we go on. This is still Adult Conversations on your Women Radio WFM 91.7. It's 5 minutes past. It's 5 minutes, 5 minutes past hour of 10. And we still have lots of time to cover this story we're profiling and give good advice to Vero. Okay. Well, remember that the number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for calling. Please, what's your name or where are you calling from?
My name is Mary. I'm calling from Yapa.
Okay. Your name is Tammy. And you're calling from where?
Yaba.
From Yaba. Thank you for calling. May I ask if this is your first time calling?
Yes, my first time.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, I support the previous guy, the guy that called, that said she needs to probably change their ways of dressing and do some other stuff in the house to probably, make him an improvement rather. And again, I don't support the part that he said that maybe like was it the one that says yes? You don't have a man because you want him to because you can get respect elsewhere. So I think I would advise her she just needs to probably communicate more. If she thinks that it's always quiet, it might be probably something that is bothering him. Because sometimes you need to try to talk. It's not all women, it's not only women that need pampering. Some men also need pampering sometimes. So
Okay.
you can just call him. You need to talk to him. Let him know that you'll be always, you'll be available for him all the time. So I think with that, if it doesn't change, then that means he probably has somebody outside, and you feel that you're not doing as much as you should, or you probably decide you can do better than her.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much, Timmy. Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Again, interesting school of thought. Timmy is obviously concurring with Ziggy earlier, about the whole dynamic, what she's wearing. Is she putting in her own part to ensure that she is not doing anything that the husband doesn't like that can contribute to the consistent or to the constant fighting between them? And that's what she's basically saying. All right. Well, in this situation, it's a tricky one because sometimes you can't really tell what is contributing to what. So, but isn't it a situation where if she's doing something that he doesn't like, or consistently bringing something up, or just doesn't know how to talk or something, isn't it better to have been spoken about? Is it not better to talk to her about it and say, "Oh, my wife, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this." Try and change so that we can, evolve and do better things and all of that. So possibly it's a it's a weird kind of situation when you are in a relationship and you and your partner are not really talking. You're not really communicating. And this is why she was asking that. And I want to read it exactly the way she said it. Yes. She said, "It really upsets me. I hate that when we have issues, he doesn't apologize, but he just wants to have sex and move on. It really upsets me." So if she's the kind of person who feels a certain way because they cannot get it off their chest, then just imagine doing that to them just every day. It will make them feel so terrible and small at the end of the day. So it's just better to it's just better off rather. It's just better off to just, be in that same space with him, try to sort things out. And that's basically what we've been hearing so far. Okay, Junior from Ikorodu is sending this one. Says, "Good evening to you, WFM. My name is Junior from Ikorodu. I think the best way to handle this case is to give him what he asked for first, because he's her husband. Then after that, she can wait to see his reaction." Okay, thank you. All right, this one is coming in. Okay, no. Let me read this one. Coming in from Cynthia. Cynthia from Agric Ikorodu is saying, "My advice to Vero is that she should pray and ask God for intervention so that he would change. Pray about it and ask God for intervention." And that's what she's saying to you. All right. 11 minutes past the hour of 10, and we're still conversing about the story that's being profiled tonight. Yes. Now let me rush through that so that you can get the hang of it. There is 35. She's a caterer. Her husband is 40 and a civil servant. Between them, they have 3 children. So he says their relationship used to work out, everything used to be fine, but now it's supportive and just it's a little different, basically. It's a little different. And I say different because nobody likes a situation where you want somebody to apologize to you. When they don't, you start feeling bad. You repress your emotions and all of that. And that's actually not healthy. So she's actually just asking, what do I do to handle this? She doesn't know what to do. And so she might need your advice. What should she do? Send in your story or your response. If you can't call, send in your response send me your response basically and just talk to me about it. Let's have the conversation so that we can give Vero some advice at the end of the day. So it's very important. All right. Join me still on Adult Conversations. We're talking about your me this we're talking yes, we're talking about Vero this evening. Vera is basically telling us that she and her husband have a bittersweet relationship. She doesn't like that, being that one day he's sweet, the following day he's not, and she doesn't really understand why that's happening. So it's a tricky situation, but it's perfectly fine because things like that happen. So walk me into what you think is the best decision for Carol, for Vero right now. What do you think is the best thing that she can do to just overall change the situation or at least improve the situation? What do you think can be done? And what is advice for Vero? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is John Alfred Isaka.
John Alfred, where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Okay. All right. John, please go ahead. Hello? Are you there? Okay. Well, you can call back if you can. Call back if you can to still give some advice. All right. Well, Vera's situation is one that is actually very prominent in Nigeria. It's very prominent here. And one can't really put a finger on it as to what the challenge is and what exactly is causing these things. But it is how do I phrase this now? It's imperative that we try to give the right advice whenever we can. Whenever we can. So yes, that is that for that. All right. 14 minutes past the hour of 10. And in this situation today, we need to give advice to Vero because she doesn't know what to do. Does this mean her marriage is over? Does this mean that they get to spend some time together? Or what does this mean? What does it mean? And what's the implication of some of these things, basically? You know, the implication of him not apologizing, how does it affect you? That's what I mean by what's the implication. How does it affect you and your self-esteem, your everything? How does anything affect you, given the situation within your household, the bittersweet situation? All right, so just pick the phone and make that call so that you can actually give advice to Vero tonight. She doesn't know what to do and she obviously needs your advice. So follow her and just basically discuss the story. 15 minutes past the hour of 10 on your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. Yes, Vera is a focal point of tonight's conversation. She's the subject matter. And remember, we don't judge here in Adult Conversations. We don't judge. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Yes.
Amaka speaking again.
Okay, very quickly, Amaka.
Okay, I'll make it short.
Yes, thank you.
You see, I was not advising her not to give her husband sex at all. Like me, for example, if my husband offends me and I needed apology from him, and he comes to me at night, now what I do, before sex, there should be a foreplay. Now during that foreplay, I'll keep in what he has done. Say, darling, you offended me. you're supposed to apologize to me. Guys, there is no how that's why according to the King Ben, he said you have to understand your husband. You have to know how to talk to your husband for your husband to fall. So at that moment when he's having that urge, you can keep in that thing and he will apologize and you move on with the sex, you give him the sex he wants. You know, there are some men that after sex they slip off, they forget what happened the next day and they move on again. They insult you again and they expect you to just open your leg. They are not slaves for God's sake. We have emotions too. So if the man keeps offending her and the woman has been talking to her, you know, there are ways to do things. You can, at that moment, there is no how the man will apologize when he wants to have sex with you. That's why it depends on the man. Oh. So if is that kind of man, that's why Vero should know the kind of man he is married to. So you can apply that way because there are some men that does not want you to challenge them. If they are wrong, that you should not challenge them that they are wrong. That you should tell them when you know they are calm. So when you should just understand the man, and that's my advice. My advice is not for her to restrict giving him the sex completely. But at that foreplay, that urge, when the urge is there, you can keep in what he has done. The man will apologize. So we should stop making ourselves look so inferior because it's a conjugal right. So if you misbehave, I should just open my legs and you have sex and you move on without even apologizing or knowing how I feel for what I have done, what you have done to me the next previous day. So that's my advice to her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Very interesting one right there. And, you know, it covered a lot of points. It covered a lot of points. This very situation, I've said that it's not a new one. It's not a new one. There's nothing new under the sun, is what people say. It's definitely not new. But currently it's happening to Vero, regardless of how old the general concept is. It's happening to Vero right now. It's happening in situations where, you know, she wants to in situations where she basically needs to feel love and all of that from her husband. And even when he offends, you know, to feel special, like, okay, this person doesn't want a repeat of this. This person cares for my heart. This person cares for me. And it's something that every